Welcome. Today, I'm going to start a series on how to understand food as medicine. So, I'm going to look at top foods or herbs that we use in Eastern medicine and explain to you why they work, how they work, who they're good for, and who they're not good for. Because I think people get really confused when there's so much information out there about healthy food or the best foods, or even especially herbs in middle life and around menopause to help you with your symptoms. And they work for some people and they don't work for others. And it can be confusing. And that's because not all foods are supposed to work for all people or all herbs. And it's really about customizing the herbs and the foods to your body. So, welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Angela Warburton. I am an Eastern medicine practitioner. I am a holistic health practitioner with many things, including Eastern medicine, herbal medicine, lifestyle medicine, food as medicine. And I'm here to really help you thrive during midlife. This is a time when you should be thriving, but if you don't feel well, it's really hard to show up in the way you want to show up. And so I'm here to give you the tools that help you understand your body, understand what's happening at midlife, and most importantly, what you can do about it. So welcome. And so let's talk about food as medicine. So in Eastern medicine, we don't look at food as only having nutritional value. So that's the vitamins and minerals that food have, which are important, but it's looking also as having properties to it. So when we talk about properties, it's about warming, cooling, drying, moistening. And we look at the body like this ecosystem too. So if someone's really hot and they're eating foods that are classified as having hot properties, instead of balancing them out, it's actually sending them more off balance. And so when we look at using food as medicine, or herbs as medicine, what we're doing is we're looking at the pattern of the individual, what's showing up, what are their symptoms, how are they presenting, and then we're going to match it with foods that are going to help balance them out. So if you're someone who's really hot, you're going to avoid any of those really heating foods like ginger or cinnamon. If you think about if you crunch on a piece of ginger, it's very warming, or hot peppers, black pepper, they're all warming. But then thinking of foods that are more naturally cooling, cucumber, tomatoes, some of the summer foods now, or even neutral. Rice is more neutral, and you have more of those foods. It's actually going to help balance them out. And so that's what we look at when we look at food. So today, the food we're going to talk about, we use this both as herbal medicine and we can use it in the kitchen, culinary medicine. I love it. This is magic when you can work with your food to have it work with you and it tastes delicious and it's in your kitchen and you know what to do. You're all set up. So this food is great for swelling, for edema, for inflammation, puffiness, even cellulite. And it's a gluten-free grain. So it's called Job's tears. In Chinese medicine, we call it yi ren. And it looks a lot like barley, but it's actually it's a different little seed. It's gluten-free. Cooks up much like, that's probably not a great way to see it, but it cooks up. I don't even know if you can see that. It cooks up much like rice would. If you cook it with 2 parts of water and 1 part of the grain, then you can cook it up and you can cook it as a side like you would a rice. You can add it. There's lots of different ways you can prepare it. So I'll talk to you about that a little bit more at the end. But this is one, it's maybe not super easy to find in every store, but if you have an Asian grocery store, it's usually found easily there. Another name is COIX seed. Job's tears, yi ren, they're all there. You can find them some herbal pharmacies online, you can find it. And like I said, any kind of herbal store, you'll be able to find it there. And so it has a very powerful ability to what we say is transform dampness in the body. I joke around, sometimes Eastern medicine sounds a bit like a weather report, hot, cold, dry, damp, but it's really looking at how that shows up in the body. So damp conditions would show up like a puffiness, a swelling, kind of like if you soak a towel in water, it becomes really heavy, really hard to lift. It's kind of what happens when we have a lot of dampness in our body. Everything might feel really heavy. We might feel like we're puffy. We get edema. We get sort of pitted in. The person who's always getting sock lines when they take their socks off. If you feel like you have this muzziness and you're like, well, you kind of want to clear your head, feels like there's almost like a blanket or a film over you, that can sometimes be what we call dampness, or that there's more dampness. It can show up digestively. Sometimes people who are chronic have candida, looser stools. That can be a sign that there's too much fluid in the body. So this particular herb and food, Job's tears, helps to balance that out. It would be more of a drying herb, and it helps to leach the moisture from the body. A lot of people use barley water in hot, humid climates. What you do with that is you'd soak a little bit of this grain. It's similar to barley water to this, but this one's a little bit stronger. So you'd soak some of the grain in a pitcher of water overnight. The water will become quite cloudy, but then you drink the water and it helps you to get rid of that dampness. So if you're in a hot climate, we get a very hot, humid summer here in Canada where I live. And so drinking some of this barley water with a little bit of lemon will help you tolerate the dampness a little bit more. So even if you're not fully off balance, but if the environment's quite damp, it can be helpful that way too. So we say it reduces that dampness, that edema in the body, that swelling. If you're someone who has put on a lot of weight, and it feels more like fluids in midlife, this can be helpful for that. It helps strengthen digestive function. So if you have a sluggish digestion, excuse me, if you're bloated a lot, like fatigue bloated after you eat, or you have a lot of food sensitivities, if you found that you can't tolerate any gluten, this would be helpful for strengthening that. It also helps any kind of joint pain that gets worse with damp weather. So if you're the person who can like smell a rainstorm like 4 days in advance, this would be good for you. Not good for the dry type people. So people who feel really creaky and dry skin, might be smaller constitutions. You might be always thirsty. This would not be good for you. It also helps with skin conditions, so like acne, eczema that has more of that pustular acne than versus a dry or eczema, and any kind of inflammation that's more of that what we call of a damp or damp heat. And also, I said weight gain, but cellulite. We say sometimes cellulite is this accumulation under the skin that's kind of stuck there. And so a lot of times when this happened to me actually not too long ago in the summer where I was quite cold, I was doing some cold plunges, didn't work for me. I don't like them. I think I swam too much in cold water as a kid. I was eating a little more salads. I wasn't moving as much. And I all of a sudden put on a lot of weight, but a lot of cellulite came on and it came almost overnight. And so I shifted what I was eating. I started to warm up my food. I started to completely do the opposite. I practice what I preach. Sometimes I fall off balance to get back on. And this will also help. So using some of the Job's tears and mixing it with a warming, circulating herbs like cinnamon and something that's going to break up that. I'm going to do a whole thing on cellulite, but just so you know, something that we often use tangerine peel. That combination helps to transform the cellulite, move the energy, increase circulation. So little things like that, when you combine it, can be really helpful. So it's a very neutral flavored one. It works on the spleen, stomach, digestive system in Eastern medicine. And you can use it, as I said, you can cook it like a grain. You can it's a great side dish. You can make a salad. I have a couple of great recipes where we add some lemon rind to it and just like a nice lemon dressing. It can be quite fresh and quite helpful. And you can also make the Job's tea, the tea or the water, as I mentioned. So you can just soak it in a glass of water, or you can brew it like a tea. Add a little bit of lemon rind or even an orange rind and drinking that as a tea if you want it warm. You can make it like a congee, which is like a rice porridge, or adding it to a soup. So if you had like a chicken soup and you wanted to add a bit like you'd add noodles or rice, you could do it like that as well. And in Chinese medicine, we add it into herbal formulas. So we don't usually work individually with herbs. We usually have a combination that's customized to the person. So, so that's great if for ways you can use it. If you're a person who is this more damp, swollen, puffy, feel worse in damp weather, tend to have weight that doesn't move, especially if you're eating a lot of salads or smoothies and you think, I don't eat much, but I just can't lose weight. This might be a helpful herb for you. Don't use this if you're dry, if you're someone who's constantly feeling dry mouth, dry skin, you've got a lot of heat signs, and warm and agitated, and just feel like you're burning through fluids, it's not for you. Not great for pregnant women in large amounts. Just so if, not having it every day, but having it every now and again would be fine. And it is gluten free, so but listen to your body. If you're really sensitive to some seeds or grains and things, just always listen to your body first. And if you're someone who has a bit of a weak digestion, you can definitely use this, but make sure you're having it warm. And you can add some nice digestive spices like ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, and make sure it's well cooked, and serve it warm and enjoy it. Okay, there you go. So I hope that was helpful. If you like these kind of videos and you want to learn more about food as medicine, I'll be posting them regularly with some common herbs as well. So can help you understand what you can do, what's going to work for you, and how to feel better in midlife. So thank you for being here. I will see you next time.